question, I guess, for both of you. This season we saw a lot more of a kind of influx of new players with different kind of qualities, some with a lot more experience than what the team had before, as players that were there from last season. What did you make of sort of the competition that brought to the squad? We saw that, you know, there was a lot of competition, especially in the positions that you guys individually play, in the midfield and in defense at fullback. What did you make of the competition? Did it help your own game to be able to know that if you performed that well in training, you weren't going to be picked either in the starting 11 or even in the starting 18? There were times where we saw big names being completely out of the squad. How did you sort of deal with that kind of newfound competition that you really didn't have to deal with all that much last season?
What? Yeah, I think having more competition is better for players individually and for our team. Certainly having a lot of depth can help us throughout a long season. And then, of course, individually, having competition in and out of every training keeps you sharp. So I think it helped us overall.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with a little healthy competition within the team. I mean, I thought it was good. We had a good group of guys that we didn't really take it too personally off the field. So we knew that if we went at each other on the field, it was on the field and it was for the betterment of the team. So I think, yeah, no, like you said, the quality of the group got a lot better, which, like you said, they left a lot of big names off the team roster, but all the players that played in those games were fully deserving of playing in those games. So, yeah, no, it was great. It was great to have a lot of players of that quality in our sessions. It made us better players throughout the season.
And I know with the last two panels, and this was always going to be a theme throughout the day today, was obviously the way that the season ended, and particularly how the season ended given your home form. We asked all of the players beforehand sort of the similar questions, so I'm going to ask it again to you guys. For you personally, what do you think it came down to? This kind of, you were in the playoff spots for I think 25 or 28 match days, only to fall at the very end, and a lot of it had to do with the home form. So what do you individually think that it came down to?
I think a lot of matches we just had some unlucky moments. I think if you look at the match as a whole and you take out the goals and you just watch maybe the chances created or the bulk of the game, I think we were deserving to win more games than we ended up winning. So I think it really came down to a couple of, just few moments, maybe lost a bit of focus or we were a bit unlucky.
Yeah, I think I agree with what James said. I mean, that's football. A lot of times the ball just bounces your way, and I feel like towards the end of the season where we need to get a lot of points. Just for an example, I mean, that game against Halifax where we conceded, I think, in like the 97th minute. I mean, any other day maybe they don't score, and who knows, maybe we use that win as momentum to push into the playoffs. So, I mean, that's football. That's what happens. I mean, we did our best. I felt like we, as a team, were well prepared and went out and gave it our all, and that's just how the season ended.
Yeah, Gabby, you talked about how the increased competition was a positive for the team as a whole, but also that means maybe you get less minutes. I was wondering if you talk a little bit about last year. It seemed like the focus was you have Sean or you have Wiro as the focal point of the attack, and everyone was kind of like serving that. And this off season and in the first half roughly of the season, it felt like there was a significant shift with having Wiro and Moses having two central strikers, which kind of changed kind of how you played a bit. I was just wondering if you talk about in the first half of the year how that impacted you positively or negatively, and if you just maybe talk about that for a bit.
Yeah, I mean, we played a lot of different formations. I mean, at the beginning of the season, I was playing out wide a lot, and I mean, I still felt like I had some good performances there. I just felt like I had to maybe adapt the way I played, just because I was in different areas of the park than I usually would be if I was playing in the 10 or as a second striker. And I mean, we got some good results. I felt like I had some good performances in that position. So the tough part about that is obviously trying to get away from all of my natural habits of drifting inside and being a bit more defensive. So I feel like that was the kind of hard part for me to get used to, but in terms of results and individually, I felt like it was fine.
In the second half year, then you kind of got to play a little bit more through the middle.
Yeah.
Again, was it like did that adjustment was that difficult? Was it hard? Did you feel
don't think so. I think it was more natural for me to play inside, but no, I felt like honestly the team we needed maybe a little change. We needed something to give a spark to the team, and I think Afshin was just hoping that if we changed the formation, move some couple of guys around, that it would give us that spark. And I feel like we did have some good performances with me in the 10 and with a different formation, but yeah, I know I felt like that last question we just answered. A lot of times it just didn't go for us. We got unlucky in some moments, and we weren't able to obviously make playoffs.
Yeah. James, for you, when you look back at the 2024 season, it's not as simple as saying, oh, you had preseason there and the season started and ended. You ended last year and you went on some trials. You had some different opportunities. You're playing with the youth national team and stuff. Some big things. Yeah. When you look back at 2024, how does it, like, what is it? What are your things that maybe stood out to you? How did you see yourself grow as a player and as a person? And maybe what are some of the most meaningful parts of 2024 for you?
I mean, certainly getting my first national call and caps was certainly a big part of 2024. At moments, maybe it was a little bit tough, constantly going in and out of the national team for the first half of the season. But as you grow as a person and a player, those are things that you're going to have to get used to. So those are big takeaways. And then there were some fine details that I talked through with Afshin and the other coaching staff that I was looking to refine and improve, and I think I did that.
Yeah, and you were asked to play different roles in the team, left back, right back, a little bit more moving forward. How do you see your role in the team? When are you comfortable both sides, and are you happy on both sides, or would you prefer more wide play, more wing play as opposed to fullback play? In your development, your growth as a player.
Yeah, when I originally came to the club, I came in as a winger, and then we had some injury crisis at the beginning of last season, so I found myself playing more fullback, and then that's kind of where I first got my spot into the squad. So with our system having very attacking fullbacks, I think that's something that I've enjoyed, and I think that's something that has matched my qualities. And then as far as playing on the left or the right, I don't have too much of a preference. They both have their benefits and negative effects to them, but either way, I'm pretty comfortable at both.
There's one last one for me.
Sure.
Gabby, when you look back on 24, what's a highlight for you, or what's something that's memorable, whether it's something that the team did, or a goal you scored, or even something off the field maybe that you would think
It's hard to really nitpick one moment, but I just feel like the team, the guys within the team, we really pushed ourselves to the best of our abilities, and throughout the season, whenever we had a tough result at home or a tough result away, we always found a way to somehow come in the next day motivated and really push ourselves to try and get the best result for the next week. So I think, it's tough to pick a moment, but I feel like just the resilience of this group was always there for this year, and hopefully next year can be a lot better and we can get better results. But the group of guys that we had this year was very good.
And was the most difficult thing this year being asked to go in the cage with Hercules?
1,000,000%. Thanks, Steph.
I guess just for both of you, can you just kind of speak to the positive side of you guys start well, you get on the front foot, you start up the table, but then maybe the challenge of staying there, especially that maybe you lose a bit of an element of surprise that can happen when you play teams so often in this league.
You want to go?
Go ahead.
You want to say that question one more time?
For sure. I guess just the challenges of the positive of the hot start, you guys get up to a good position at the table, but then the challenge of keeping it, especially when you maybe got a bit of a target on your back, you lose an element of surprise.
Yeah, I think the hot start was obviously great for us. It gave everyone throughout our team and club confidence that all the work we're putting in is paying off. And then I think slowly as the season went on, we just grew a little bit unfortunate. Again, like we said, with certain moments, and then the results didn't quite start swinging our way how we kind of expected. But that's football.
Yeah, I think we also had deal with a lot of like minor injuries, people being out for a couple of weeks, and I feel like dealing with that early on in the season is a lot tougher than having those players maybe start later on in the season, because then they could sort of get a groove. But we had a lot of things that really just didn't go our way in the season and forced a lot of players like international duty or injuries or I don't know, whatever the case may be. So we were forced to rotate the squad a lot, and I feel like that kind of threw us a bit off our groove. But I mean, it's no excuse. We had a lot of great players to fill into those positions, and yeah, I mean, maybe it is also because you're playing the same teams over and over again, but we're playing the same, like it's the same thing for us, you know. So we should be able to get those results.
I guess just one for each of you. First, James, just how's it been like to have a club like Vancouver FC? Because growing up in Vancouver, it's kind of been Whitecaps or nothing, and even if you're born of a certain generation, there was nothing. Now you have this opportunity. You've had the chance, along with some of the other youngsters like Grady and TJ, and being able to play for a hometown club and develop and not have to go abroad.
Yeah, I think having the CPL and League One coming in is bringing all new opportunities for players in BC and all across Canada that maybe wouldn't have had a chance otherwise. For me personally, not growing up playing for the Whitecaps, you never know where my career maybe would have taken me if I didn't end up on Vancouver FC. So I'm forever grateful for this club and how the game's growing in Canada.
I guess Gabby won as well. You had the chance to play for Lebanon this year in an Asia Cup. Super cool opportunity, traveling across the world for other big games as well. What's those kind of opportunities that maybe we don't see as much. Maybe you see some of these stories like Poku's and some of the Canadian stories, but seeing like yourself or Mickey playing for Haiti and some of these other cool international opportunities that you can get. Like, what's that been like?
It's been incredible, honestly. I mean, the CPL has been an amazing platform for a lot of players like myself and James to really just showcase our talents and just show people around the world that Canadian footballers are able to play at these levels. And I think, like you said, with Poku moving abroad and now playing for the national team, I feel like it's slowly coming. And I mean, it's only a matter of time before the CPL is really one of those leagues that everyone really takes a look at and says, wow, like it's a big league with good players, and kind of joins that category of like MLS and stuff like that. So yeah.
I think we got time for 2 more in the room. No? Any questions on Zoom? All right, thank you so much, James. Thank you, Gabby, and good luck this on season.
Yeah.